You ever find that one movie that finds you out of nowhere, no pomp, no circumstance, no celebration, no red carpet or big thrills, and definitely not a franchise movie where everyone has heard all about it? It happens maybe once or twice a year. And no, I know that the movie Finest Kind is that for me. Polly here at the Latino Slant. Hope everyone is doing great during this time. And again, I've been really looking forward to this video and talking to you guys about this particular movie for a few, well, at the time of this, maybe over a week. And for me, that might as well be a month because I just always got to talk to you guys about films and stuff. So I've already seen this movie twice. I've already posted and tweeted about it, wondering why it has gotten such a horrible critics reviews at this point. 30% on Rotten Tomato as of December 21st, 2023, with the audience faring much better than that. So here's what I want to do in the video. Here's what I like to do in the video. I want to go over some production notes and read to you from the writer-director himself. Then I want to give you a kind of general non-spoiler take on the film. And then I want to just pop around the film with my thoughts that are spoilerish. You can find this movie right now on Paramount Plus streaming. And let's get to it. This movie does star a couple of notable names like Tommy Lee Jones, Ben Foster, newcomer Toby Wallace, and yes, Jenna Ortega. Now, this is from the official Paramount kind of press information that they give out with films. This did come out in 2022 in April. They shot that month of April of 2022. This is a crime thriller, they say, starring Academy Award winning Tommy Lee Jones and the rest that I said. Now, this is written and directed by Academy Award winner Brian Helgeland. Brian Helgeland, everyone, won his Academy Award for the screenplay to L.A. Confidential, as well as he's written and directed 42. He's coveted, guys. He's everything. So here's the announcement, and when and where they'll be filming it. Now, I wanted to get to the description of the film, and more importantly, Hegland's own. He talks about this. Now, here's a description. Set in New Bedford, Mass., America's biggest commercial fishing port, Finestkind tells the story of two brothers, Foster and Wallace, from opposite sides of the track, who are reunited as adults over one fateful summer, when desperate circumstances forces them to strike a deal with a dangerous Boston crime syndicate. A young woman, Ortega, finds herself caught in the middle. Along the way, sacrifices must be made. Bonds between brothers, friends, and a father and his son are put to the test. That's a pretty good description of it. It's a little heightened. I will, in their description, they're kind of hyping it up a little too much, and I don't want you guys to be confused. In my take, this movie is more of a slow burn drama than it is a fast paced thriller. It is not a fast paced thriller, and that is not a bad thing. Now, we're going to hear from the writer director himself, and I love what he has to say. This sheds so much light, and I get it, right? I really got this film, and I can say yes, this film is for men, but that being said, watch this with Romy, and she thoroughly loved this film. It's a very special film. Okay, let's hear from Helgeland. Having spent a year after college as a Massachusetts fisherman, I created a script that brings a level of authenticity by being able to weave it in my own personal experiences, said Helgeland. I come from a long line of commercial fishermen and have experienced this hardworking world firsthand. Though through the help of our partners at 101 Studios, Paramount Plus, and Bosque Ranch, we will be able to accurately capture their endeavors at sea as well as honor them for their immense contributions to society. I feel privileged for the opportunity to tell this story to audiences globally. Okay, so let me just stop you guys right there, and I want to shed a little light on New Bedford, Mass, because I know nothing about that world. Romy does. Romy's Portuguese. She was telling me that is a huge Portuguese community. That is where the fishermen go, and and it is hard working class. Obviously, a very extreme weather there, and it is one of the biggest, if not like the second biggest, fishing port in the United States. So that is where we lay our scene. What I did not know is that Heglin is from there. That this is very personal to him, and it makes sense. It lends to the story. And I will tell you that Toby Wallace's character in the story, as we begin the story, has just graduated pre-law, but he wants to go spend time with his brother Ben Foster, and he wants to be a deckhand, be an assistant, be a mate, whatever you call it, on his fishing ship, and that's where we start the movie. So let's get back to these words from Heglin. Oh, actually, producer Gary Foster echoed Heglin's statement. Brian and I have dreamt about making this film for a long time. We have been friends and colleagues for over 30 years. Brian's powerful screenplay draws on his experiences growing up in the tough city of New Bedford, Mass. The authenticity of the piece and the richness of character combined with Brian's directorial vision will elevate Finestkind to an exciting cinematic ride, and is why we have attracted a stellar cast. Ben Foster, Toby Wallace, Jenna Ortega, and Tommy Lee Jones. I couldn't be more thrilled. Okay. Heglin also, like I said, won for LA Confidential. He was also nominated for Clint Eastwood's Mystic River. Other films include Legend as well as 42. So if I'm looking at LA Confidential, I'm looking at Mystic River, I'm looking at 42. This man knows how to write conflict with other men against men, different relationships, whether they're partners, working partners, professionals, brothers. Uh he's got it. He's got it. So now I wanted to talk about Heglin's work here, because the fact that he's sitting on this older piece and it's been a dream of his for so long makes perfect sense to me as to why these modern critics don't like it. This is a movie, for lack of better words, that was easily could have been made in the 80s and 90s. This is slice of life. This is slice of American life, and just exactly what the producer said, incredible characters. So I'm not surprised that the majority of these, critics of none, experts of none, just have disdain for the story and for this film, because these are characters, these are relationships, people relying and learning and then betraying each other in this film. There's no virtue signaling. There's no one that's more special than anyone because of their color, of their race. These are just real people in real situations, then elevated to this crime thriller. Okay, so the film is about the reuniting of two half brothers, Toby Wallace and Ben Foster. In really, the first part of the film is the life on the boat, the bonds of brotherhood, the bonds of male friendships that this young man makes, not just with his brother, but with the other crew members who we really um, get to know. And we get to know their relationships off the sea as well. So this storytelling is, I had mentioned the word slow burn before, in that there's no there's no action in regards to flashy beginnings, quick edits, and jump cuts. This is a movie that takes its time with you guys getting to know these characters. And what may seem so kind of like mundane and like, why are we watching these men, uh, at sea, fishing, commercial fishing? And you're realizing who's teaching who's showing who different skills on the boat, that we are slowly becoming invested in each character, slowly getting little onion layers of each character peeling off as to each other through the eyes, for the most part, of the Toby Wallace character, the younger brother. And this younger brother, I have to tell you, he's brought up so well by his parents, played by Lolita Davidovich and Tim Daly, in very small roles but important, that he doesn't come. He's not a broken man. He's not a broken guy. He just wants to find himself. He got respect and humor and loyalty with his older brother. Now his brother, played by Ben Foster, is the broken one. He's got the relationship, the really hard relationship with his real father, Tommy Lee Jones. Same mother by Lolita Davidovich. And Tommy Lee, his character is the owner of the book of the film of excuse me of the boat Finestkind. Now, let me stop right now as well and let you know what is the Finestkind. The Finestkind is the name of his boat, but it's also a catchphrase word that they use in that part of the world of New Bedford. Sort of like how we use here in LA amongst Latinos, orale. It's an all-purpose word. It can mean different things at different times. And early on, early on, you learn about that word right away when they're being they're when they're waiting to be saved, because early on we are thrown into no exposition but story of the first boat, not the finest kind, but the first boat going under and then having to be saved by the Coast Guard. Fantastic scenes, fantastic scenes. So that's the title of the boat and the catchphrase that these guys use a lot. I want to pause and also tell you the language and the words and the phrases that these characters say to each other are so powerful, and yet so real, so simple as well. Several characters use the lines in regards to life as you live, you die. It's what in between that counts. That are very powerful, and different people say that to each other. So my non-spoiler reaction to you is that this is a wonderful emotional drama of people that get caught up into a kind of desperate situation, but you totally understand why they are doing it. You totally get why they put themselves in an ultimately dangerous situation, for each other and for loyalty, for family. So um, that's really my non-spoiler take. Now I want to go to a spoiler situation. So if you have to leave now, come on back after you see the movie and let me know what you all think of the film. I see why Jenna Ortega uh, took on this role, why she agreed to this project when she's so coveted, and this was filmed a few years ago. At this point now, almost a year and a half, and she surrounded herself with veteran actors, Tommy Lee Jones, Ben Foster, and another new talent in Toby Wallace, and of course the writer director of Heglin, so she could sink her teeth into acting, into a character that's just not her. So I totally get why she did this film, and any Jenna Ortega fan will be really pleased. And if you're not a fan, you'll be kind of surprised. Okay, spoilers. Here we go. Ah, Toby's character finds himself absolutely captivated by the life at sea. His dad, who is a lawyer, is absolutely in dread that this is happening. He thinks that Ben Foster, the stepbrother, is an absolute loser and does not want his son to be even caught without those types of people. As even though they're raised in New Bedford, Toby's character was raised in the rich part of town. Jenna Ortega's character is not. She's with the homies, for lack of better words, that crew of fishermen that all live there in that part of New Bedford. That includes one who is a father, a young father, one who's kind of your happy go lucky pal, and one who's a drug addict, and that will be a crux in the storyline later on. Jenna's mom, and Jenna's character is named Mabel, which is a fun line that Tim Daly, when he meets her, says, "I didn't know they still named women Mabel anymore." A lot of great lines, a lot of great, fantastic lines. So, um, Toby meets Jenna at a neighborhood watering hole, and he's taken with her. And it's established really quickly that Jenna is a kind of low level um, kind of a drug pusher, along with her mom, who is more of a mid-level kind of drug dealer, and even makes some of her homemade drugs at her house. That is the situation with those characters. But Jenna and her character Mabel wants something more, is going after something more. She does not want to do this life. She does not. She has she's, even though she loves her mom and loves her sister, she's got very big problems with her mom, and you can see that dysfunctional relationship right off the bat. Now they slowly fall in love with each other, but what happens is that with Tommy Lee coming to visit Ben Foster's character at his house, he needs Ben to take out the finest kind, to go and make money for them. We don't know why, but Tommy's not telling Ben why he won't go. And after a little push and tug, where Ben says no and is walking back into his house, Tommy Lee just stops and looks at him, and he says, "Please, for me." And Ben's character just says, "Sure, Pop." And it's the first scene that they have. And throughout the whole scene, he's calling Tommy Lee's character, his dad, by his first name, Ray. And it's in that moment where he says, "Please," that Ben says, "Sure, Pop." Fantastic scene. Brilliant scene, brilliantly done. And it's like the next day, it's a turnaround where they're back at sea, and they have an incredible success in what becomes a long montage of Toby learning the really learning the ropes of how to fish for scallops. It's incredible. It's a really incredible portion of the movie that, again, this is not your action thriller. You're like, well, where's the thriller? What's going on? Okay, boat gets seized because Ben's character decides to skip the Canadian border, crossing for more riches, for more fish. He gets burned. They seize the boat upon re-entry, $100,000 to get the boat back. Now he's wondering where Tommy Lee has been because he's not around. The neighbor says he's gone to Boston. He's gone to a bigger town because he's gone to the hospital. Well, we learn that Tommy Lee has stomach cancer. And this shifts now into a dilemma, a moral dilemma that Ben and now Toby, who's been with him this whole time as the dutiful younger half brother, um, that we have to save Ray's boat. This is our lifeline. And then soon, Tommy Lee Jones wants to give it to Ben. This is what all he's got left is his boat. Fantastic, you know, turnaround, because what you're getting in this first half of this movie, really most of this film, because the thriller part is really the payoff, like the third half, the third act. First and second acts are just this slow burn of drama and characters, like I said. But you believe in the shift because you are invested in every single character at this point, from our leads to our co-stars to our auxiliary characters, such as the parents, which really are in it very minor. There's a wonderful scene where Lolita, upon hearing that Tommy Lee has cancer, visits him at the local bar, and they have a great scene together. Just great scene together. I can't tell you the casting that Hegland did in this, perfection. And you know why. You always wonder why actors take on smaller roles. Well, even if it's for that one beautiful scene, they'll do it. And Lolita had that beautiful scene. Tim Daly has that beautiful scene at the end of the film. Okay, here's the dilemma. Here's the scenario I told you about. How do they solve it? Well, Jenna's character knows of a sinister drug dealer. Do this run, get you 100 grand, in and out. That's it. That's all you got to do. Well, it's never that easy. And there's some massive betrayal that happens to where it's either the money, right? Because the drugs were stolen after they were picked up on sea. They were taken at gunpoint. After they got back, the brothers were delivering the drugs back to the drug dealer, gonna get the rest of their 80 grand. What happens? They're held at gunpoint and they're robbed of the drugs. And there's a suspicion of who it was. Was it Jenna Ortega's character? She's got a great scene where they're all after her at the bar. Was it the happy-go-lucky guy? Was it the best friend who's expecting another child? We find out it's the drug dealer. It's the drug addict friend who's got a fantastic character, and he tells you why he did it. Pure betrayal, pure heartache, but that doesn't matter. We still got to deliver that money or the drugs by the next morning. So this whole time, Tommy Lee is kind of checking out what's been happening. He's been hanging out in the background. Hey, my son shows up beaten up from being held up. People are asking for money. My son's step brother, half brother, who is going to pre-law, now has a gun. He stops Toby's character one-on-one by themselves. He's like, what happened? Because Tommy Lee has no idea that they've gone down this dark road. Fantastic stuff, guys. Fantastic stuff. Now, I'm going to stop the spoiler because I don't want to ruin this ending for you guys. I want you to see this ending. I want you to see what Tommy Lee character does. And then I want you to hear what Tim Daly's character does, because Tim Daly's character this whole time is this what seems to be kind of this one-dimensional, kind of uppity lawyer father, and what he does at the end of this film. What he does at the end of this film. Because what made me cry at the end of this film are fathers who say, take me with you. I will do anything for my son. I mean, I was gutted, absolutely gutted. And absolutely, this film, Finestkind, vaulted into my top 5. I mean, I got to figure this out. I've seen it twice. It is a type of film like LA Confidential, Mystic River, where you see it upon multiple times and you just keep getting more juicy bits from the dialogue, from the way these characters look at each other and how they behave with each other. It's this human behavior, and this is what movies used to be like. This is what great writing and directing used to be like. The last half is a great emotional payoff. Everyone is fantastic, and like I said, I see why Jenna did this role, and I see why these idiotic critics are throwing their hate on this role, because how dare we this day and age have a character, a female, that asks for advice for of this new love that she has, where they're inspiring each other, and he says, be your own hero, be your own hero, you know, because she's trying to break the chains of where she's coming at, and she meets this man who just treats her so well. It's such an amazing connection and interaction, relationships. So listen, that's The Finest Kind. It is one of my favorite movies of the year. It's staying with me, and it is a small film. There's no CGI. In fact, it's the opposite. I hear that several crew members of the production crew did get hurt on the job because it's at sea. It's a pretty riveting filmmaking. So check it out for yourself. It's uh, streaming now on Paramount Plus. It is called Finestkind. Stars Tommy Lee Jones, Ben Foster, Toby Wallace, and Jenna Ortega. Let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts after you've seen it. Come on back, and wherever you're at, keep that slant fuerte.